Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Developer Relations Activity Patterns podcast. I'm your host, Scott McAllister. I'm joined today by my fellow co-authors, Ted Neward and Chris Woodruff. And we are here today to talk about the pattern of technical support. So Woody, tell us about technical support, why we love it, and how that relates to developer relations.
Well, so this was an interesting pattern because I think we had some discussions on this, and we did go round and round if this was a pure DevRel pattern. Now, DevRel will definitely do tech support on the products or services that they kind of spotlight for their companies. But I remember we were like, is this something that overlaps with other areas in the company, and like what kind of tech support does DevRel really do? Is it specialized? Is it a certain kind of tech support? And so I view it as tech support that you're giving out to the community. So if someone comes in and maybe you have forums, or you have something that your company allows its users to give feedback on, or to ask questions or stuff like that, then as a DevRel person, it's kind of your the expectation that you will help that person kind of fix or resolve whatever issues they're having. So I don't view it as a like this pure tech support where someone calls up and they ask questions and stuff like that. I mean, the other thing with tech support is you could also get tech support through your salespeople. I've actually done that, but I think it's a little specialized. So I'll throw it over to Ted to get his perspective on it.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I mean, as somebody in a DevRel position, you are generally expected to have some level of technical knowledge, right? You're expected to be able to, write code, debug code, diagnose code, what have you. And in many cases, if you accompany, for example, a salesperson on a pre-sales call, and somebody asks questions about, hey, I tried downloading your SDK, I tried doing the free trial, and I ran into issues. And implicitly what they're saying is your company's credibility is at stake here. We're not going to buy into, a hot pile of garbage. If I can't get it to work, then obviously the problem is you, not me. Mm-hmm. Right. And so you're expected to, or the desire is that you will be able to go in and be able to figure out what exactly was going wrong there. Why exactly could they not get this, particular thing to work? If it happens post-sale, now you're in the realm of traditional tech support. But in many cases, your company may have traditional tech support folks. Generally speaking, the tech support folks were aligned more with like some of the QA and customer support engineers and so forth. But you still can be in a position where you need to be able to provide at least some kind of first tier technical support, particularly if your product service is developer facing, because developer relations, we represent the company to the community, which means you're often on point for some of these things. You stand up, you give the great talk at conference, whatever, and you step off the stage and somebody comes up, oh, that was a great talk. Can I get like 5 minutes with you? I have a question. And you're thinking, oh, it's going to be a question about the talk. No, when I try to call this API in your product and these things happen, you're like, Crud, let me completely shift my thinking for a hot second there. And so in that sense, yeah, I mean, technical support, it's one of those things that you could be called to do in a very formal manner. Well, we want to schedule a call with you, Scott, to talk through some problems we're having with your API, with your SDK, what have you. But it also frequently pops up in a very ad hoc manner. And in both cases, it's essentially technical support. It's more a question of, if it goes too deep, you probably have to punt it off to somebody else or open a ticket, right? You open a bug in Jira for the engineering team to go fix. Or, in some cases, you ask, you talk to their customer service, their customer support representative to open a ticket on their behalf or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I've seen
I've done where I've gotten these questions and right after a conference talk, your brain's kind of mushy to begin with. And sometimes I'll just go, hey, let me write this down. If there's a second day or another day, I'll say, hey, let me research this tonight and let's talk tomorrow. I've got tomorrow open. I'll just be around the conference and we'll talk about this. So I will say that as long as you acknowledge their issue and tell them that you will work on it, most people are good. They won't expect like an immediate answer right there. So that's kind of my little hot take is you don't have to be Superman every time, I guess. So Ted can be Superman. I can be head mush Woody and need some time to think about the issue and have that context switching that needs to happen.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that, sorry, yeah. What's interesting that I've seen, I've had a variety of developer relations. Well, okay, I've been a developer advocate at a variety of different companies, I should say. And the expectation for technical support has been different at every one of them. And so it's like, it's some places, like there was one place where I worked where I was the maintainer. I was the maintainer of the Terraform provider for that company. And so I was pulled in on sales calls and on support calls for that Terraform provider because I was the guy, right? Like, even though I was a developer advocate, I was actually the expert on it. I was the next level down as far as technical support. Our regular technical support team knew the basics. They knew the entry level stuff on the particular product, at least at the time. I think they're much more trained up on it now. And so I would be pulled in as an official technical support person. I was inside the tickets. I would be making comments and things. Other places, it's like, well, if you can see it in the community, see it on Stack Overflow, back when Stack Overflow was a thing. But also just on our forums or elsewhere in the community, at your talks, at conferences, on the social medias, just kind of keeping an eye on it. It kind of overlaps with a lot of those patterns because we are that face of the company. We're the face of the product. And so when they see you, they're like, oh, there's Woody from JetBrains. I have this super obscure JetBrains question and I have a person to talk to.
Just so people know, I don't work at JetBrains
No,
anymore.
you just brought up JetBrains before.
Yeah,
and that's why I didn't bring it. Yeah.
But yeah, you are kind
employers.
of you're the foot soldier for your company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like what you said, I loved what you said, Woody, because it's acknowledging them and letting them know that you see them, that you hear their concern. And it's amazing. And this kind of bleeds again over into forums and things. But at a previous employer, we had a variety of open source projects and we decided to focus in on one of them. And so these other open source projects, which were still popular, people still wanted to have questions answered about them. Finally, we kind of ignored them for a little bit, for a few months, and people were getting a little testy, understandably. Finally, I jumped into those threads, into those channels, and I said, hey, let me be honest with everybody. we don't, as an engineering team, we have limited bandwidth and we can only focus on this one project right now. But we are absolutely want to address your concerns, but we can't do it right now. Every single person on that thread was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. We understand that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they get it.
Yeah.
As engineers, they know about limited bandwidth. They know about the limitations that a team has. So just us as developer relations, it's our job to see the people and make them feel that they're seen, because we want them to know that, yes, we see you, we hear you, we are, essentially creating a relationship with you.
As long as we do the necessary next step, which is make sure it feeds into.
Yes, you need to do your job as a developer advocate and actually bring that feedback back to the team and say, look,
you tie the bow and you wrap up the gift.
And I did. That same situation, I would take those posts and I would take them back to the engineering team and say, hey, remember that project we said we're putting on the shelf? Here are the people that are saying, we really love your project. We would love to continue to make contributions to this open source project. Can you let us, give us permission to do that sort of thing? Yeah.
Because that's the thing too, is on the one hand, yes, everybody wants to be seen and heard, right? That's important. But at the same time, lots of companies have taken that to mean, if we just say the nice things, your concerns are noted, and then nothing ever changes, very quickly the credibility drops out.
People can smell that, and they can smell that as BS.
That happened to me this morning. I reached out to a company that has an API, and I asked them a question, and the answer felt so canned and so not like they were actually listening to me. I was like, and I don't like you as much as I did.
Yeah. It's amazing how quickly you can lose. You start playing with a thing and you start building. It's like, oh, this isn't bad. Oh, this works. Okay, I've run into a problem.
Yeah.
Your concerns have been noted, and we will reply to you at an appropriate time. And suddenly it's like bonk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
all that momentum.
You couldn't care less.
Exactly. So I think we've hit everything around technical support. It's one of the smaller patterns in the book. It's an important pattern, but there wasn't a lot of as we were writing the book, there were other chapters that had more meat on the bone. So this was kind of a smaller pattern, but I really enjoyed this. I think I like the whole idea of if you can't solve someone's problem, you acknowledge and you follow up and you make sure that person gets some type of answer, or at least their expectations are met. So as I say, you tie the bow on the gift and you give them a gift and you thank them and everything. So, but so with that, I want to thank two of my co-authors, Scott and Ted. This was a great episode, and we will be back probably next week. I think we're going to try to get one of these out per week, as long as I can produce them and edit them. But this is a lot of fun. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, tell people about it. If there's a chapter that we haven't done that you really want us to talk about, we would love to. If there's a pattern that we missed in the book, hey, enlighten us and tell us what we missed. So, but with that, I'll say goodbye, and we will talk to you soon. And thank you again, and appreciate you guys being on. And adios.